Start our Vartanantz Banquet now. People have trouble hearing. Either speak too loud or too soft. Anyway, most of you know me. My name is Gary Kalustian with Gevon Lodge here in Pasadena, member of the Tri-Lodge Council, which represents the three lodges here in Southern California, Gevon, Argos, and Sevon. Together, we put together this program this evening, and hopefully you will enjoy it. It'll be something different and unique that you'll be experiencing tonight, and we appreciate your attendance this evening as well. So many brothers did a great job in putting this banquet together, and I was going to ask them to stand, but I know many of them are in the ante-room across the hall, and so it's going to be difficult for all of them to stand, but those that are not part of that program that we put together and still did a lot of work for us, please stand so we can give you a round of hands. All the Tri-Lodge members that are in this room. Well, I'm going to take it upon myself, being that the big shots aren't in the room, and I'm just going to tell just one quick joke. Paper separated here. Many of you know Jay Leno, a famous comedian and a car enthusiast. A while back, he did this quote, and I think it's really relevant today with everything that's been happening here in America. And I just want to quote what he said a while back. Jay mentions, he says, with hurricanes, tornadoes, fires out of control, mudslides, flooding, severe thunderstorms tearing up the country from one end to the other, and with the threat of bird flu and terrorist attacks, he says, are we sure this is a good time to take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance? And I think this makes a strong case for leaving God within the Pledge of Allegiance. Now we'll start our program officially. In your program, please see all those wonderful donations that were made by supportive individuals who believe in us and our brotherhood and sisterhood, as well as our past commander, Knocking Avok Barbed Steve, and past Grand Matron, Knocking Avok dear Lisa Karajan, who also made a donation as well. And we also, at the door, received another donation from Brother Dr. Gregory and Alice Katachin. So let's give a hand for all those who gave donations and supported this banquet tonight. Thank you all for the support. Now we will have the official Knights of Vartan welcome for tonight's special guests and members of the Knights of Vartan and the Daughters of Vartan. We are pleased to have with us tonight our most recent past Grand Commander, Stephen Karajan, who honorably led us for the last 3 years. Let's give him a hand. With Steve tonight, we have Knocking Sparbed Nishan Dugarian is with us as well. And to continue on, we also have past Grand Commander, well, I haven't seen him yet, but I'll mention his name, Knocking Avok Sparbed Robert Barsom, and his wife, past matron, Knocking Dirahi Arpi Barsom. Are they here? I didn't see them. Oh, they're coming. Okay, well, better late than never, I guess. Okay. Let's give them a hand. Also with us tonight, we have Southwest Grand District Representative for the brothers, Sarkis Hardy, who will later read a letter from our current Grand Commander, Dr. Gary Zumanikian. And I'll introduce Brother Hardy a little bit later. In attendance also is our Grand Matron Avak Dirohi, Diana Tukmanyan, and her Avak Order, which she will introduce later. Stand up, Diana. Okay, thank you. Then we have Grand Past Matron Nakin Avak Dirohi, Asian Surmayan, followed by Southwest Grand District Representative for the Sisters, Sonia Serpekyan. Stand up. And Sona will return a little bit later and introduce, well, shortly, we'll introduce Avak Dirohi Diana for her talk. Also at that table is past Southwest Grand District Rep for the Sisters, Julie Slermayan. Welcome, Julie. Also, we'd like to please welcome all the clergy in attendance tonight. We have Archpriest Father Sarkis Batoyan and his wife Tauline from this church, St. Gregory Apostolic Church. And also, we're pleased to have Pastor John Melkonian and his lovely wife Jeanette with us tonight as well. Give them all a hand.
And your sister. Best friends. Oh, best friends.
Grand District Rep, Southwest Grand District Rep, Elizabeth Gashis. Nakin Dirohi, right? Okay, thank you. Sitting right up here in front of you. You're too close to me, I can't see you. And thank you for coming with me.
Leonard, Betty and Leonard.
You brought Armin with you on this. And of course, our local lodge commanders and lodge matrons and the past lodge commanders and past Otiak matrons and brothers and sisters, and especially all our guests in attendance this evening, thank you for coming to support the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Knights of Art. Welcome. Now, let's all stand, if you can, and listen to the Knights of Vartan Men's Choir under the leadership of Lodge Brother Armin Aroyan, accompanied by, on the piano, by Anya Bajan, to come forward to present the American and the Armenian national anthems. Choir, please come forward. Thank you, choir. Thank you very much. Beautiful once again.
Talented people.
I'll wait till you get seated before we move forward. Now, Steve, get out. Brother Nishan, Brother Diron, Sister Zovik, sit down, please. I know. There'll be plenty of time to socialize. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Southwest Grand District Rep, Sona Serpektin, who will now introduce the Grand Matron Abak Dirodi, Diana Tukmanyan, to speak to us. Sona.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here representing our wonderful Daughters of Vartanantz. Many of you already know Abak Dirodi Diana, but I'm going to read her official biography. Dirodi Diana Tukmanyan was born in Pasadena, about 5 miles from here. And she was raised by her parents, Barabed Milky and Rose Tukmanyan, who guided her love for Jesus, love and dedication to her church and of her family and her Armenian heritage. She is the oldest of 4 children, 2 sisters and a brother. And her brother is normally her chauffeur, but he took the night off, so he's not here tonight. She grew up in the Armenian Cilicia Evangelical Church in Pasadena, where she still attends today. She graduated from Pasadena City College with an Associates of Arts degree and a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Home Economics from California State University, Los Angeles. She also has a California State broker's license. Diana joined the Daughters of Vartanantz in 1990. She's held many positions and was dear to me twice, once, well, 4 years actually, 2001 to 2003 and 2011 to 2013. She's worked under the chairmanship of Nakin's Barabid Michael Montosian on the convocation in 1998. She served as a Southwestern Grand District Representative for Daughters of Vartanantz from 2013 and 2014 under Nakin Abak Dirodi Lisa Karajan. For many years, she has volunteered at the Los Angeles Bureau of Consumer Affairs and also the Pasadena Boys and Girls Club teaching cooking and sewing. She's also worked on elections as a clerk and inspector for 10 years. She's presently Vice Moderator, President of the Dorcas Guild, and Board Member of Ladies Auxiliary at the Armenian Cilicia Evangelical Church in Pasadena, and she's held many positions on the Board of Trustees and Church Council. Diana is looking forward to representing her sisters in New York next month for the genocide commemoration, and also in Detroit for her first grand convocation as Abak Dirodi. Please welcome Abak Dirodi Diana Tukmanyan to the podium.
It's an honor and privilege to be here this evening, representing a great organization, the Daughters and Knights of Vartanantz, being a daughter. At this time, I would like to introduce you to my Grand Council, my Vice Matron, Sophie Mankarian. Please stand. Colleen Kaketian, my Grand Secretary, Barbara Kalakian, Grand Sergeant of Arms, Barbara Bezoyan, Grand Treasurer, and Claudia Harding, who is the Grand Mistress of Ceremonies, is not with us this evening because she's doing a job in Atlanta, Georgia. But she sends her regards, and I want to thank each and every one of you. One of the most significant battles for the Armenian nation was the Battle of Vartanantz that took place on May 26, 451, on the field of Arrar, and long to be remembered as the great spiritual and moral victory for all Americans, or Armenians. In the 4th century, when Armenia was divided between the Byzantines and the Persian empires, Christianity was a strong force in the land. The Armenian nobles and the religious leaders were taken away under false pretenses from the king of Persia. And to be released, they were promised The Armenian nobles and the religious leaders affirmed their loyalty to the Persian king and expressed their desire to continue paying taxes to Persia. However, they made it very clear that they would never renounce their Christian faith. The Persian refusal to grant religious freedom to the Armenians paved the way for war. After consulting amongst themselves, the imprisoned military devised a plot of their own and pretended to accept the Persian demands. The Armenian nobles were released and returned to Armenia laden with gifts and accompanied by the Persian soldiers and magi who would initiate the reconversion of paganism. Back in Armenia, however, the people who had heard of the faithlessness of their leaders and did not realize that it was a plot, they became furious and decided to fight for their own, because of their own traditions. The Battle of Vartanantz was described in detail as the nobles' wives who organized the common people and prepared to fight against their kin under the leadership of some of the military nobility who took command during their crisis. As soon as the Armenian nobles and soldiers set foot on their own land,